Welcome back everyone to AGB Cars. How are you all doing? Aaron again here, and this is the video for the second day of the third pre-season test and also the second test at Barcelona. So this is the third last day of whole pre-season testing, and not long now until we get to Australia. So a bit of analysis for today. We're gonna something I forgot to mention yesterday actually was that Force India was not present at the test yesterday, and the reason being for that is their new car, the VJM 08, was only shipped from England recently, so it couldn't make it on time for day one, so it only got to the track for day two, and they didn't want to run. It would be a waste to run the old car on the first day, as they did in the first couple of tests, or the second test. They weren't at the first test altogether, so they unveiled their new car today, and it got its first day of action on the track. So we're gonna go through the times now. So as you can see, the Mercedes was fastest, of Nico Rosberg. And if you take a look at the time, you'll see that he did a 1 minute 22.7. That lap time is pretty unbeatable at this stage. That is an incredible lap time. Yesterday we saw Felipe Massa go out in soft tyres on the Williams, and he did a 1:23.5, and we all thought it was very quick, and it was the quickest time that we've seen so far. But then today Rosberg went out in the Mercedes and topped it by 0.8 of a second. So, today was really the first day where Mercedes showed its true pace and the outright speed it truly has in the car. Because we obviously know now that for the previous few days and previous few tests, they haven't been running at their full potential. But that's was their plan, of course. They wanted to get the reliability end of things done first, as of course that is what cost them most last year, because it was the races where they had reliability and technical issues where they lost races, such as Canada, let's say, where both cars got the same kind of issues, and Ricciardo was able to win that race. So yeah, an incredible time on soft rubber as well. So that's the soft tire, the same as the Williams was. So you can compare there to what you want to do. Whole 7/8 faster than Massa was yesterday. And obviously the quickest time we've seen so far in pre-season testing, and also the first into the 122s, and also excellent mileage, managing over 106 laps. Not as good as some, but certainly nothing to be ashamed of. And of course they overcame the MGUK issue that they had yesterday, quite a rare Mercedes issue. It's just a little fault in the MGUK, but certainly diagnosed and repaired quickly, and today we can see what they're able to do when they try, I suppose. Then Valtteri Bottas took over proceedings for Williams from Felipe Massa, and he did a 1:23.9, which is 1.2 seconds off Rosberg, but we know that the Williams can do a 1:23.5 on the soft tyres, because that's what Massa did yesterday. And also day two of a test will always be kind of quicker, because there's more the track will be more rubbered in than it would be on the first day, so more running, which means the track is cleaner, and obviously cars can go faster. But a good time from Bottas as well. Obviously we know it wasn't as quick as he could have gone, because Massa was 4 seconds faster, and we know Bottas and Massa are fairly evenly matched in all respects. So good time. We know it can go faster though, but a trouble-free day again for Williams, and over 100 laps complete. Sorry, not 100 laps, 90 laps completed, which is. But of course, they are completely happy with 90 laps, and they even ended the day early after they got their scheduled program finished, and they didn't see any value in going out again and completing more laps. So that's confidence, I'd say, anyway, from the Williams team, which is a good sign, I suppose. Then we go down to Sauber. Felipe Nasr in the Sauber did a 124. Again, like a lot slower, but he was on the soft tyres also. Pretty close to the Williams in that respect. We know that the Williams was certainly like way faster than the Sauber last year. So after closing up a bit, but we know the Williams can go faster. Also, great laps from Sauber today, 141, which was brilliant. Even though it was like that's fantastic amount of mileage, it's only the third highest. So, it all this shows is obviously this is nearing the end of pre-season testing now, and like teams are starting to like understand the cars, so reliability end of things is improving dramatically now, and it's the speed end that all the teams are starting to work on. Sauber today, and then we're doing aero measurements using you'll see all the pictures of the kind of sensors behind the wheels measuring where the airflow is going. And Sauber also completed a full race simulation of 66 laps, as it would be in Barcelona. So good day for Sauber, and they completed, of course, what they wanted to complete, which is essential. I suppose it's more important than being fastest or doing the amount of laps. Once they get what they had planned done, it's always a good sign. Sebastian Vettel now in the Ferrari was fourth fastest, 125.3, so a big gap there in the times, and all the same tyre as well. The first 6 from Rosberg down to Maldonado were on soft rubber, and then the medium tyres were used by the last 3 for their quick laps, or quickest laps of the day. So Vettel, good, fantastic amount of mileage is the main thing to focus on for Ferrari today. 143 laps, which is incredible, and most of the day, only just though from the Lotus and Sauber and Toro Rosso. On soft tyres though, so like that's the same tyres that Rosberg had, and he's almost like 3 seconds slower. So, like, obviously the Ferrari isn't 3 seconds slower than the Mercedes, but it just shows that the Ferrari isn't really concentrating on speed, or they weren't anyway today, and they're focusing on other things. They were also doing aero measurements like Sauber were, and completing long runs as well, where it's priority, which certainly with that amount of mileage they certainly did. Then we go down to probably the surprise of the day anyway, McLaren and Jenson Button, a 125.5, which is a good time like for McLaren, because we know with the amount of issues that they have had in pre-season testing, so certainly not a bad time for them. But most important thing is the amount of laps that McLaren have done. 100 laps, over 100 laps. And this was certainly really unexpected, because of course yesterday they only managed 7 laps and then had a hydraulic leak which halted their running yesterday. And like when we thought all was gone for McLaren and they'd no hope at all of anything this season, and they wouldn't be in the points for the first few races, or they wouldn't even finish the first few races, they've shown today that they have the reliability and are able to do some long runs. Because I think before today that the most amount of laps they done in a day was around 30, or I think it was in the 30s, maybe 40s. So a huge step forward for them to do 100 laps in a day. And time also was, like, it wasn't at the top, but it was competitive, I suppose. if you bear in mind the issues and the troubles that they've had in pre-season testing. So, like, really huge step forward, and certainly a lot of encouragement there for the team and the fans, because that's just brilliant. But then on Button's 102nd lap, he stopped on track and caused a red flag. So obviously, not everything pitch perfect there. Just when we thought everything was going well, that had to happen. It was just 10 minutes away from the end of the session, so, and it's that recent. Like, I don't know what it was yet, or what caused it. So certainly though, like, very encouraging day anyway for McLaren. And then it's Pastor Maldonado in the Lotus, and he had a fantastic day in terms of laps, 140. He did a, what did he do, a 26.7, 4 seconds off Rosberg, but he was on the he was on the soft as well for that lap. And yeah, so I mean, laps obviously, Lotus weren't trying to go quickly, and they focused on aero work today. But I mean, the mileage is sort of the most important thing to take from Lotus. It's certainly encouraging day for Lotus as well. After, of course, and Lotus have, during the whole preseason testing, they have certainly looked like they've improved a lot over last year, and a major part of that is of the arrival of the Mercedes engine into the team. They had the Renault engine, of course, last year, and it was like diabolical in that car. I think they only got points at the 5th or 6th race, so like, that's a major step forward for Lotus this year to be doing 140 laps in the testing. Then we go down to Toro Rosso, and Max Verstappen was in the car today, and he did a 26.7 also. But he, how many laps? Oh yeah, he did 139 laps as well, so that's massive as well. Very encouraging for Toro Rosso, who have shown good reliability and good mileage throughout the whole test. So encouraging for them as well. He had to stop with an error remaining, however, as a electrical issue plagued the car. So again, not all perfect, but certainly encouraging. And like, bearing in mind that he skipped an hour there, he probably would have had the highest lap count if that hadn't have arose, but unfortunately it did. Toro Rosso as well, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, go back and watch it. There's a link in the description under previous video. I mentioned that Toro Rosso changed their front nose. They had, of course, the kind of swooping flat nose of the Ferrari and McLaren, but now they've kind of changed to a shorter stub nose design of the Williams and Red Bull. So not great mileage either from Toro Rosso today, 84. I mean, it's still good mileage, but in comparison to others, you know, not as good as others. Yeah, but encouraging day overall for Toro Rosso. Then we go down to Kvyat was in the car again for Red Bull, and he did a 26.9. They again, today they focused on aero work, and like, not bad mileage again, 84. Sorry, what am I saying? Yeah, Toro Rosso. Sorry about that. Toro Rosso did get 139 laps. Sorry, reading about Kvyat there, because of course he was in Toro Rosso last year. Sorry, a bit confused there. It was Red Bull who only got 84 laps. So in comparison to rivals, Red Bull were not a match in terms of amount of laps, but and also the lap time for Red Bull wasn't too great either. So he was on the medium tires, but not Red Bull's best day. They had to actually stop as a precautionary measure to check a hydraulic sensor. So don't really know what that's about, but not best day for Red Bull, but not kind of the worst either, I suppose. Force India then were last, kind of not unsurprisingly, or not surprisingly, yeah, unsurprisingly, if that makes any sense. Force India, because like, brand new car, this was the first day of running, so we all expected it to be the slowest, and indeed it was by 5.5 seconds from the lead of Rosberg. But a good mileage. I mean, 77 laps on the very first day of the car being run is encouraging. And of course, like, don't be concerned about the lap time there, because their priorities would have been reliability and making sure the car actually works on track, and then they'll start to dive into lap times and speed and performance. So yeah, that's it for the third day of the second test in Barcelona, or the second day of the second Barcelona test, or the last preseason test altogether. 2 more days now on Saturday and Sunday, so I hope that you'll join me again. Stay tuned to AGB Cars, because they will be covering both of those days. So until then, thank you for listening, and goodbye.